Hey everyone, so this is the third video of 3 videos on the Nissan Sentra SR trim, the 2022 year model. This video I'm going to be focusing on the tech features specifically, the safety, driver aids present, what's under the hood, the infotainment system, and more. So I will have chapter markers on the bottom of this video so you can feel free to jump around as you want. But let's first start off with this remote key fob. So running through the buttons here, since I do have the top SR trim, this one also does come with the remote start feature, so that's what the first button does. But for protection to prevent you from accidentally remote starting your car, you actually first have to press the lock button, and then you can press and hold the remote start button for a few seconds, and your car can remotely start with you not even being in the car. Very useful for people who live in colder climates. Now the next button down, as you can expect, is that lock button, which will cause your car to honk to let you know, even at a distance, that you have indeed locked your car. Underneath that is the unlock button. Underneath that is to open up your trunk, and then finally your alarm. Plus the hidden feature of the key that's actually tucked away inside the fob, which you just press down on this little button here, and it slides right out. Now most people are going to just use this as keyless entry, and a really nice feature about this key fob and also this Sentra model is that if you just get close to the car with the key near you and then you press the button on the door handle, it will automatically unlock or lock the car, which has been a huge convenience factor. I never have to take my keys out of my bag. Plus, the car also knows whether or not the key is in the car, even if the car is on, so it will prevent the car from moving if you don't have the key in the car. Again, another SR trim feature are these really nice LED headlights and fog lights. And something to note is that the lights do stay on even after you lock the car for a minute or so. Now, talking about what is underneath the hood. It is only front wheel drive on all the trims. You don't have any option for all wheel drive. It is CVT also, continuous variable transmission. And unfortunately it still has Nissan's very rubber band like feeling CVT. Still not a great contender in the CVT market. But at least it gets decent gas mileage. It's rated to have 29 city, 39 highway, and 33 mpg combined, but with my time with it as a rental car for about a week, I was achieving a little bit under that, but again, since it is a rental car, it seems on average it's going to get less, but it really depends on the driver. There is this eco button if you want to use it to try to save even more gas mileage, but personally I don't like the responsiveness in the eco mode, and it really doesn't do too much in terms of gas savings, so normally I have it off. Moving on to this 8-inch infotainment system is a single touch screen with the 2 volume knobs and tuning scroll knobs on either side. So when it first turns on, if you were playing music before, it will automatically restart that music. Additionally, it has these physical buttons on the bottom. So the first one is to toggle between the highest and lowest brightness settings, so you can quickly change it from night to day mode. And then you have your reverse and skip tracks toggle. And there's the quick button access to your audio. When your music is playing, it has some very easy to access buttons. You can't do any kind of scrubbing, unfortunately, but you do have your forward and backwards buttons. You can loop the track or your entire playlist, pause, play, shuffle. At the top right is actually indicators for your device that's connected, so you see Bluetooth and even the battery life of your device. You can change your audio source. You have quite a few options for audio. You have your AM, FM, also even satellite Sirius XM radio. Any of your wired connections, including auxiliary and 2 USB ports, and of course Bluetooth audio. There's also Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which you would have to activate by a wired connection. They're not wireless in this particular model, but the nice thing is that if you wanted to say have your GPS through Apple CarPlay, but you wanted to play your music through Bluetooth, you can still do that. Going back to the physical buttons underneath the screen, you also have the menu button. Not too much going on here. The first page is basically the last active thing that's going on, so you have like a little tile for that, and then you can scroll over to your connections as before, and then a little widget for your time. So it's not particularly helpful, I think, for this main menu. But the bottom quick toggle buttons are pretty nice. You have, of course, the phone button, which you can check your last call log and all those things. You have another quick start audio button and also your connections. So this is not only your Bluetooth connections, which you can get up to 6 connections, but also your USB wire connections and apps. And then finally, of course, the settings. So you can tweak any of the settings specifically for this 8-inch infotainment screen. I'll talk about the dashboard screen, which has its own settings and toggles in just a bit. But you can see I can tweak settings for like the backup camera, the keyboard, the brightness, any of the screen options, etc. So when you are backing up, it will by default switch over to the backup camera, which will be shown on this large screen. And the quality here, unfortunately, is a potato camera quality, which is pretty unacceptable for a 2022 year model. You do also have the option to upgrade to a overhead 360 parking cam view, which I definitely don't recommend doing so because that quality is just about the same anyways. But at least the parking tech also includes proximity sensors, so it will beep like crazy when you're nearing a solid object that it can detect. But going back to positives, I can appreciate the quality of the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this vehicle. They are standard across all the trims, which is very nice to see, and it's pretty easy to use, it's pretty intuitive. For example, I have Apple CarPlay pulled up here so I can have my GPS going and also music playing as well. Something I appreciate about the location of this infotainment screen, because I use it so much for GPS navigation, I appreciate that it's pretty much at eye level or glanceable eye level because it's higher up and closer to the windshield, as opposed to other car models who prefer to put the screen a little bit farther down. For audio, it has a 6-speaker array by default, 2 in the top A columns here in the front, and then 4 on the lower end, so 2 here on the front door side, and then 2 more in the back door sides. Even though this is still the base speaker system, you can actually upgrade to even a Bose 8-speaker system. This one is actually still quite good. I think it's pretty crisp and clear, and the bass is decent, and its clarity is pretty good, especially with trying to drown out road noise. Now let's move on to the driver's dash graphics. So this is an LCD screen that is actively changing, and it has quite a few screens that you can shift through, all of which are pretty useful. So it can show things like your direct digital miles per hour, as well as your current fuel economy when you're driving, your tire pressure for each of your tires, which is really useful, trip information, the speed limit sign, and the speed limit sign, if it identifies one, will stay on the top part of your dash, as well as your time and also the temperature outside of the vehicle. On the bottom is your odometer, the gear that you're driving in, and also the amount of miles expected based on your current fuel economy. But additionally, it can show a couple of other useful information, for example, who doesn't have their seatbelt on or which door isn't fully closed. The only thing I have to say as a fair warning is that the speed limit sign is literally based on sensors. Like, I just drove by this 25-mile-per-hour speed limit sign and then it detected it. But I have seen it detect the speed limit sign erroneously, like in this instance where it thinks it's 70 miles per hour, but actually it's 55 miles per hour. And just like the infotainment system, the dash graphics here also have their own built-in settings. In fact, it has a lot more because it also touches upon the safety features, those driver aids that are available to you, but you can choose to turn them off if they do bother you. Navigating through the driver dash graphics are these buttons on the steering wheel, so you can see that it does have some very conveniently placed buttons, but unfortunately it doesn't have any way to pause your music, which is a little bit annoying, so you do need to touch the actual touchscreen to do that, but you can at least adjust your volume and also skip and reverse tracks. And there's also a back button also on the left side. Moving on to the right side buttons on this driver steering wheel are the cruise controls, and this does have active following cruise controls, so it'll follow the car in front of you, which is very convenient. There's also a voice assistant feature where you can try to speak a command and Nissan will try to figure out what you want. Still very basic. It's nothing like a voice assistant like Google Assistant or Siri or anything like that. Play radio.
Command not understood. Please say again.
Play radio.
Playing FM. It can affect your entire...
and then a pick-up phone call button right at your fingertip. Talking briefly of the AC system here, this one does come with dual climate control on the SR trim. So you can see there's a left and right knob to control the respective temperature settings. And then of course there are some nice, very touchy manual buttons that you can use to adjust the fan levels yourself. Recirculation, defrosting, all of that. Fans certainly are quite powerful, and to be honest, with such a small vehicle like this, I don't think dual climate control is really necessary. So if you want to save some money, this is somewhere you can save money on. Now, one area you don't have to worry about paying more for is the safety and driver assistant technologies. It has the up-to-date collision mitigation and also can auto-apply brakes as necessary. But my favorite day-to-day driver assistant features definitely include these blind spot lights on the left and right hand side to let me know when there is a car on my blind spot, and it will start blinking rapidly if I try to turn my signal on and shift lanes. And there's also this lane departure warning that will very gently vibrate your steering wheel and buzz a little bit audibly to let you know that you're departing from your lane. Now, there are a few additional features that you can upgrade to on this SR trim that I don't have on this particular model currently listed on the screen. So you can get things like that surround view parking camera system. Again, I don't really recommend that one. You can get a sunroof if you want. You can get power adjustable driver's seats, heated front seats and the steering wheel, upgrade to an 8-speaker Bose audio system, have a Nissan Connect connectivity with onboard Wi-Fi hotspot. But a lot of these I think are just kind of nice to have and definitely don't add too much value in my opinion. I think the one I got spec'd here is just right. But overall, I'm very impressed with the tech features available on this Nissan Sentra SR. Even some of the standard tech features that are across all the trims like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, those safety and driver assistant aids. I like that they were very smart about choosing what to turn digital and what to remain physical and manual, like the volume control knobs, the dials for HVAC, even keeping the physical tachometer and speedometers flanking either side of that digital cluster. The touchscreen could be a little bit improved. It is single touch and it can be a little bit laggy, but overall for a compact sedan, I think all the buttons and controls are smart, they're intuitive, and they're easy to find. So thumbs up for that, and please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.